Okay, we're just working on the old TO-35 here, and I've started cutting some of these bolts off because I'm gonna mount this drawbar thing on the front of it. Usually, I guess use that to haul a hay wagon or whatever. Like if you were gonna try and put one into a tight spot, I guess you'd have tighter steering on it. Maybe I don't know why the heck they built this, but my plan is that I'm gonna mount this on the front here. If I can get her lined up. Get it hung on the bolts here kind of so I can show you. Kind of sits like so. I'm kind of just holding this here, but it sits like so, so I just need to cut these bolts off. I bought some new bolts today at the farm supply and get it mounted on, and then I'm planning on building a weight box to sit on here for the pulls, and it sits far enough that the hood can still come up and that it'll put the weight out pretty far for the to give it more, I don't know what you call it, cantilever or whatever, to keep the front end down. So that's my plan for tonight. I'm just took one of the bolts out. Been using this fucking Sawzall thing. Is awesome. First time I've ever really used it. And I got these Torch Milwaukee blades. Fucking things are the best thing ever. Like, just shears right through these grade 8 5/8 bolts. Like, no problem. Like, just sheared her. And the other week I had this clevis on this pin, on this drawbar, but the pin was bent and just fucking sheared right through it. No problem. Like, it was nothing. Fucking, if you're gonna buy Sawzall blades, buy those fucking Milwaukee ones. They are the fucking best. So it's getting a bit later on in the night. It took me a while to get those bolts off, and then a buddy showed up, and then had a few beers with him and so on, the way things go. But these bolts aren't pushed all the way through, but basically I don't think it's gonna line up perfectly as it is, so I'm gonna have to get a torch and bend this in a little bit so it lines up. And I don't have a torch here. I'm meaning to get one, and my boss has an extra set, so I'm gonna see if he'll sell me one. But if not, I'm just gonna find see if I can find somebody to just give me 10 minutes of their time with the torch, paying $100 or whatever, and heat these corners up so that I can bend them in a little bit on each side. Like, I literally pretty well just need like half an inch on either side. But yeah, I got all the bolts, spent a while cutting them, and it's kind of a pain because this arm here is two pieces. It's hard to see. It's fucking dark and my shadow's in the fucking way, but it's two pieces there. So I had to get the jack under with a 4x4 and jack them up so that once I got all the bolts up, just so that it would meet the height, because there's nothing attaching it in the middle here by the fan. I'll get a light here in 1 second. Yeah, so it's all two pieces, and there's nothing attaching it in the center by the fan here. There's nothing that holds it together, so that it all just kind of sagged down once I got all the bolts cut off. So what I had to do was I had to get this jack under it with a 4x4 and kind of jack it up to meet the height, and then push the bolts through. So I'm pretty well ready to go whenever the fuck I can get this thing bent. Hopefully I can do it soon. And for the second project of the night, I took the carb off of this unit to try and get it cleaned out, and it was a pain in the ass, I'll tell you. To get at one of the bolts for the air box, I had to pull the exhaust off, and then there's this stupid fucking collar that threads onto the block, and it must have been loose anyway because it was leaking. So I had to pull it off, and that gives me a chance to look at the piston while I'm at it, and I'm gonna have a look at that in a second. But honestly, The carb is pretty good. I've already had the float bowl off and I cleaned it all out, and it really wasn't actually that bad. But the actual carb itself, like in here and everything, and the needles all seem to work. And looking down here into the throttle, it all seems to be pretty dang clean. Like for a fucking 40-year-old bike, it's more than, well, fucking close to 50-year-old bike, 40 to 50-year-old bike. It's not too fucking bad. Like the outside is dirty. I'm gonna clean it up just for the aesthetic of it. But yeah, I had the float bowl off and it's pretty good. I'm gonna try and I brought some oil. I'm gonna try and mix some brand new fuel and see if that helps and get this carb back on and see what happens. So I'm back at it again. It's the next day. I was here pretty late last night, probably till close to 1 in the morning. Just had to get the exhaust off the bike and the airbox and everything to get the carb off, because my dumbass, I could have undone this one fucking screw and saved me a whole lot of trouble. But I didn't really see that, probably because I was half in the bag, and took these 4 out on this plenum that goes right into the side of the block. So I kind of shot myself in the foot and took way longer than I needed to do that job. But it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know what footage will be any good from last night anyway, because I haven't really reviewed it yet, and I've watched a bit of it, but I was pretty drunk and just rambling and shit. So we'll see. But hopefully I'm gonna get this carb back on today, and I'm gonna put some new fuel in it, because I think the fuel that I had in it before was probably no good. So I mixed up a new can of fuel last night, and I'm gonna put that in. I fixed the clutch cable last night too, or maybe the night before, I don't know, but I have the clutch cable fixed, so hopefully I should be able to get it going today. But I said that the last 2 times, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'm just trying to give her a little bit of a cleanup while I'm in here and make it look like less like I just pulled it out of a barn and that it just sat for 10 years. And even just cleaning these plates up on the sides, fuck, it already almost looks like a different bike. Once I'm gonna try and get this frame cleaned up a little bit, just down to the paint, and maybe do something on those handlebars. I might even just pull them off and paint them black or something like that. Just, I don't know, I think it'd look a little nicer. And this fender's kind of fucked. I might see if I can do something about that, or just find some sort of an aftermarket one. I think I might put a aftermarket plastic gas tank on it too, just because those metal ones, they always rust and you get dirt and shit, and then you clean your carburetor every fucking year because of all the shit falling out of the tank. So we'll see. I might do that. And then because my other bike has the same problem. It has a fucking, like, it has a tank like the one on this here compressor, that, because the tank just got so rotten. Well, I did get it to run on a bump start. I just ran her down the hill and popped her into second gear and dumped the clutch, held the throttle wide open, and it did stay running until it started kind of bogging, and I tried to downshift into first, and then it died. And then the fucking clutch cable came off again, so I'm gonna have to come up with another solution to that, because I can't fucking keep pulling the whole side cover apart every time I fucking try and get it going, because it's just this little fucking thing here. It hooks onto this little thing to pull the clutch to disengage it, and I don't know why it just keeps popping off. So I'm gonna try and hook that up one more time, see if I can figure out a way to keep it in there, because I don't know what, like, maybe the cable's not tight enough. Maybe I need to adjust it, because I think I can adjust it here to tighten it up. So that's what I'm gonna have to do, I guess. But I did get it running, and I got her all cleaned up now, and it looks like a completely different fucking bike. So yeah. So I fucked up. I went to take the shifter off and I fucking snapped the thing clean off. So I don't know. I'm gonna try and weld the thing with this shitty fucking 80 amp fucking flux core welder. We'll see how that works. Well, that's somewhat tacked. I might have to give her a little more. I'm definitely gonna have to clean out those splines to be able to fucking use it, but at least I've got something. Man, that pissed me off. Got the fucking... I put the screwdriver, because you had to kind of pry it off the splines there just to be able to get it off, and then I pried it too hard and snapped her off. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Well, I guess I didn't tack it good enough. I hate this little finicky fucking welding shit. Yeah, I might be fucking looking for a new one of these. This welder is absolutely fucked too. Well, that's probably as good as I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna let that cool so the tack actually hardens and see if I can give it another little bit. Yeah, so I finished tacking it and I did videotape it, but the fucking camera fucked up. So yeah, it's not the greatest weld. It's a shitty 110 welder with a not the right size cone on it that's kind of taped on. But I mean, it does the trick. I'm hoping that this will work for the time being, because now I'm probably gonna have to find a new shifter. But I'm hoping the YZ would be the same shifter, because I'm sure a YZ80 is probably a lot more fucking common than a DT or GT80. I haven't figured out. Mine's one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's between a 74 and a 76, but I can't figure out exactly which serial number it is, so I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. That'll be the end of this video.